If I told you that there were hundreds of trillions of dollars worth of silver and gold in the ocean, would you believe me? I mean, let's be honest, that would equate to millions and millions of tons of gold and silver each. When people are panning for gold in a river, they might be lucky to get a few flakes, maybe a gram here or there. Even the biggest shipwrecks might only drop a few hundred tons. So how is it possible that there could literally be millions of tons worth of silver and gold in the ocean today? Well, let's figure that out together. Here's the math. Even though there's been some major shipwrecks that have dropped tons of silver and gold, for instance the SS Central America, which in 1857 went down off the coast of the Carolinas carrying about 500,000 troy ounces of gold with it, 16.5 tons of gold. Or let's say the SS Garisopa, a British ship sunk by German U-boats in 1941 during World War II. That ship alone was carrying 240 tons of silver bullion. But despite the fact that there's been millions of shipwrecks in human history, and that many of them have been carrying silver and gold along the way, there's still just no way that it could amount to quadrillions of dollars worth. So where is that number coming from? The silver and gold is in the ocean. When I say in the ocean, I really mean it. In the ocean. The seawater itself holds millions of tons of silver and gold. While sources may vary, the best estimate for the amount of gold in seawater is about 10 parts per trillion. Now, one thing you gotta understand is that this is all based on estimations. The concentrations of gold and silver in any given amount of seawater are gonna differ depending on where you are. For instance, one study assessing the silver concentrations at various places around the world found that surface waters off the coast of Japan were the highest ever measured for open ocean in terms of silver content. Depending on where you are in the world, the seawater might contain 2 to 100 parts per trillion of silver. To make it simpler to understand, imagine getting about 1 milligram out of every ton of seawater. Another way to look at this, at a concentration of about 11 parts per trillion, a ton of seawater would still only contain a fraction of a cent worth of gold. Another source estimates that it would take 110 million tons of seawater in order to get just a single gram. Of all the water in the world, 96.5% of it is in oceans, seas, and bays. In total, that amounts to 321 million cubic miles of seawater. So that's the answer. How could the silver and gold be so diluted that it would take an unfathomable amount of water just to extract a few troy ounces? But yet there's still hundreds of trillions, maybe even quadrillions of dollars worth of these precious metals in the oceans? It's because there is just that much water. And even though people have been trying to salvage silver and gold from shipwrecks, or find ways to extract it from the seawater for over a century now, it's still just not technologically feasible and therefore not commercially viable. But that doesn't mean that we should give up extracting metals from the ocean. And I'm thinking about one metal in particular, aluminum. How many times have you seen an old beer pop can floating down the river where you know it's ending up in the ocean? How many times have you seen plastic bags, plastic bottles, all manner of trash just littering the ocean? And what if there's something that you can do about it? Those of you who love silver forever and have been watching my videos for a while know that I love trees. A few years back, a bunch of popular YouTubers got together and started a collaboration with the hashtag Team Trees. They had a goal to raise $20 million to plant 20 million trees. Long story short, they even surpassed that goal, and to this day they still plant thousands of trees. Well, today, big YouTubers like Mr. Beast and Mark Rober and hundreds of others are announcing a new effort called Team Seas. And this video is a part of that. We are aiming to raise $30 million in order to extract 30 million pounds of trash from the ocean. Sure, it's great that there's all kinds of treasures like silver and gold in the ocean, but the ocean is also a valuable ecosystem that we depend on more than you know. So join me in making a donation to the hashtag Team Seas effort. Share this video, like, comment, subscribe, and do your part.